Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, I have been promising you a video on CRISPR as well as NVIDIA for a while now. I've been trying to answer the question for the CRISPR guys that when is the ship coming in? When is the payday coming? Because many of you have been holding CRISPR for a long time and you see the share price going down, going up and all over the place, but not making any significant returns that you're looking for. I myself have entered and exited CRISPR many times. I'm profitable on CRISPR. Right now I don't have any holdings of CRISPR. So I was trying to answer the question, when is it that CRISPR is going to become a meaningful investment in terms of being able to show high level of capital gains and also kind of give dividend income and become like a blue chip pharmaceutical company. And I have drawn some conclusions. So I'm going to share that with you today. I'm going to also talk about shorts because there's a heavy shorting in CRISPR in my opinion. So stay tuned, watch until the end and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. That said, let's look at the disclaimer and then get started. Welcome back, friends. CRISPR-Cas9 is a powerful gene editing tool capable of precisely modifying DNA, and many companies have now got the technology, and the moment they decide to monetize any product made using this technology, they have to pay some kind of royalty to both CRISPR Therapeutics if they have bought it from CRISPR and to Editas because they hold the royalty rights from Broad Institute. So that said, this technology has the potential to treat a wide range of genetic diseases from rare disorders to common conditions, and we have competition among a whole bunch of companies which are all in our watch list in the genomic side, but CRISPR Therapeutics stands head and shoulders above all of them because of Casgevy already being in the market, and the global market for gene therapy is expected to grow substantially in the coming years, driven by the increasing number of approved treatments and the growing awareness of genetic diseases, and this presents a significant opportunity for CRISPR Therapeutics. CRISPR Therapeutics has a robust pipeline of gene editing candidates targeting various diseases. The success of any of these candidates could significantly increase the company's revenue and valuation. And if you look at the strategic partnership, I think CRISPR Therapeutics has formed strategic partnership with major pharmaceutical companies like Vertex Pharmaceuticals to accelerate the development and commercialization of its products. And this partnership has not only proved the endurance that it can stay for a longer period of time, but also helped CRISPR Therapeutics to prove to other big pharma that it can successfully deliver CRISPR-Cas9 based products which have got good monetary value in a reliable manner and also can be a good partner for the long term. And these partnerships can provide access to resources, expertise, and broader distribution channels, which is a big asset for CRISPR Therapeutics. And given the transformative nature of gene editing technology, CRISPR Therapeutics has the potential for long-term growth. The company's success will depend on the clinical development and commercialization of its products, but the underlying technology offers a promising future. Because if you look at the current lay of the land, the standard of care of many genetic diseases is using small molecules and other technologies, and all of that I think is going to change as CRISPR and Cas9 and other gene editing technologies start to create a sea change in how the genetic diseases are treated, and the standard of care is going to improve, and it will be dominated by gene therapies which could either be once and done or something that would be required once in every 10 years or something like that, maybe a functional cure of some sort. So it will be much more superior to what is being available, what is being presented right now as standard of care for genetic disorder. However, it's important to note that investing in biotech companies, especially those in early stages of development, carries a significant amount of risk, and most of you already know this because you have experienced it personally. Clinical trials can be unpredictable and regulatory hurdles can delay product approval. For example, we have had situations where FDA has asked for information about how a particular therapy impacts the germline, whether genetic edits made are passed through to the progeny. So those kind of questions might come up in future, and that can delay or maybe derail any of those therapies. Additionally, competition from other companies developing similar technologies could impact CRISPR Therapeutics' market position. You have already seen that in terms of Casgevy having competition from Lyfgenia and potentially from other therapies that might come up from other genomic companies, using a slightly altered approach but providing the same results. So for investors with a long-term horizon and a risk tolerance, CRISPR Therapeutics could be a compelling investment opportunity. The potential benefits of gene editing technology are substantial, and the company's position as a leader in this field could drive significant growth. It's always recommended to conduct thorough research or consult with a financial advisor before making investment decisions. But in this channel, as retail investors, we are sharing our thoughts and ideas. This is not financial advice. So I'd look forward to hear your feedback as well in the comment section so that I can get informed of different points of view. The stock market, as you know, is a volatile place where prices can fluctuate rapidly based on various factors, including company performance, economic indicators, and investor sentiment. In the short term, investors may be more inclined to short shares of companies like CRISPR Therapeutics if they have doubts about the company's ability to monetize its technology or achieve significant commercial successes. And these short sellers are betting on a decline in the stock price. However, for investors with a long-term perspective, CRISPR Therapeutics could be a potential to make a lot of capital gains, because CRISPR Therapeutics has the potential to revolutionize healthcare and could outweigh short-term uncertainties in the long term. So it's advisable to be patient and consider buying shares like CRISPR Therapeutics during market dips, as the company's values could appreciate significantly over a period of time if it successfully develops and commercializes its gene therapy. And you would have already seen that many companies in the gene editing field, gene therapy field, have been chased by law firms with class action suits, and that can also be a fodder for shorting a stock. And you could also have some short seller coming up with a report, like it happened with Ginkgo Bioworks, where they said that the short seller said that Ginkgo is having dealings with its own subsidiaries and showing that as revenue. So those kind of things can also help short sellers to short a given stock. So when you short a stock heavily, the share price goes down because people are borrowing stocks and selling it at a lower price, expecting that the share price will fall, and they can buy it back at a lower price and sell it back into the market. So that's the kind of thinking behind short selling. Let me show you the short interest on CRISPR Therapeutics. It's quite eye-opening. Look at this chart here. Well, here is how I would interpret the data that we have here. So you look at the bottom line, which is that there's 83.78 million of floats of shares of CRISPR Therapeutics, which means that this is the number of shares that is freely available for sale. It excludes the restricted shares and those things. So this would be a meaningful baseline to use in order to compare all the statistics. So I would say that at 22.86%, a significant portion of CRISPR's outstanding shares are currently being sold short. This indicates a high level of bearish sentiment among investors. And then if you look at short ratio, a short ratio of 12.02 suggests that short sellers are borrowing a substantial number of shares compared to the average daily trading volume. This can amplify price movements both up and down. And the impact of heavy shorting on CRISPR's share price can be multifaceted, and it can be tipped on each of those facets based on what happens in the marketplace. First, let us talk about the downward pressure. When short sellers short a share, they're looking to profit when the share price declines. Therefore, heavy shorting can put downward pressure on CRISPR's price as short sellers attempt to sell their borrowed shares. And this in turn starts increasing the risk of a potential short squeeze, because a heavily shorted stock also carries the risk of a short squeeze. If the stock price starts to rise due to some positive news like a FDA clearance or a IND approval, or let us say Casgevy sales numbers, then that can increase the share price, which will force the short sellers to buy back the shares to cover their position. I mean, if you know that from the earlier statistics, we know many people have borrowed CRISPR stocks in order to short sell them. So this action can drive up the share price even more rapidly, thereby increasing the volatility, because heavy shorting can increase the volatility of a stock's price. This means that the stock can experience larger price swings both up and down, making it more risky for investors. It's important to note that while heavy shorting can have a significant impact on a stock's price, other factors such as company performance, market sentiment, and economic conditions also play a role overall. But in the short run, short squeezes can also happen, and also shorting can push down the share price. So that brings me to a big conclusion with regard to CRISPR Therapeutics. I would say that CRISPR Therapeutics is more for a long-term investor. And the reason I say that is because in the short term, you see a lot of volatility in the stocks. And that's a psychology when we are investing. If you sit in front of the trading platform for the whole day, and if you have some positions, then the time will pass very, very slow. 1 hour will seem like a eternity. And in that 1 hour, you may make some rash decisions because of the fluctuations that you see in the share price. Maybe the share price doesn't move and you're getting upset and you just sell the share, and then the next hour you see that it's going up. So all those kind of things can happen, and our comprehension of the way time passes is distorted significantly when we look at the share price moving on the stock chart. So for a long-term investor, what happens is that they buy the stock at an appropriate time, and they don't look at the trading platform on a daily basis. Maybe once in a month or once in 2 months, they may look at their portfolio and they may say, okay, I'm willing to wait for some more time. It's a mindset for a long-term investor. They're not looking for immediate gains. And for a long-term investor, I think CRISPR Therapeutics provides a very good opportunity to dollar cost average and hold it for a longer period of time when Casgevy revenues become mainstream, when the diabetes therapy becomes approved, and when some of those CAR-T therapies that CRISPR Therapeutics has got in its portfolio gets approved. And in the longer term, long-term investors will find a lot of opportunities to buy CRISPR Therapeutics cheap, and they may not sell it when the price goes up because they're a long-term holder. So this is where you as a genomics investor have to be very, very clear. Why are you in genomics? Are you in it for the long term, or are you in it for short term? If you're in it for short term, I would really say this is not the place to be in, because if you're going to be in it for the short term, you need something at least that shows that there is a lot of momentum in the stock. So you'll have to look at the stock momentum and the RSI, and then you have to do a different kind of decision making on buying a share and selling a share. So that's a different ball game altogether. And I'm thinking that in this channel, as we cover genomics, we should take a more long-term focus, and I should lead by example. So I'm going to talk about long-term aspects of these shares going forward. So I think on a longer term, my personal opinion is that CRISPR Therapeutics is a good stock to hold among all the stocks that we have in our genomic watch list. And that is because revenue has already started for CRISPR. And I'm thinking that we are going to have more approvals coming in and more catalysts coming in the shorter term. And right now, as the stock price has dropped significantly, this could be a good opportunity. And I'm going to take you to the price chart before I wind up this video. Let me use this chart to demonstrate who is a long-term shareholder. I think long-term holders are people who are professionals, who are very busy in their own fields, and they are making good money, and they need to invest money for their long-term goals, and they're not looking at it for bread and butter issues. So those are the kind of people who are long-term investor. Imagine people earning huge salaries, and they have enough money to run their household, and they have more money coming in every month than their expenses. And they have a tendency not to look at their portfolio, and they do not know too much about stocks either, but they just know at a high level that a particular company is good or a particular company is bad. They're operating at that level, and they may buy the share at some point of time, and then they just look at it once in a couple of months or so, and sometimes they may see that it's very low, and they may decide that it's okay, I'll check it again another day. They may not even dollar cost average. That's where the opportunity lies for long-term investors who, if they decide to become a little more involved, they could have bought shares when CRISPR Therapeutics was down to 42.84 on 10th of May, and then they could have bought again some more when it dipped to 39.16 on 28th of December. And there are various opportunities where they could have dollar cost averaged and increased their holdings. And when the payday comes, they are going to be looking absolutely fantastic. And this is the same approach that is taken in systematic investment plan with mutual funds, because you buy more shares at a lower price, and then your risk also is reduced because your share prices are always lower than where the market is at most of the time, because the market most of the time is going to be in the average area. It won't be on the highs, but it will be in the average areas, and your average cost price will always be lower than the average price of the stock, because you always bought when the stock is at the bottom. So those kind of investors would find it very interesting to observe 42.84, knowing that in the past the share prices have dropped up to 38.86 as well. So long-term investors are very patient. They're not looking for the money right now, and they would hold on, and they would like to see CRISPR Therapeutics test 42.84, and if it falls down, then they would be observing for 38.78, and when it comes close to 38.78, their point of view would be, let us see it test 38.68, and then if it bounces back up, that's when we are going to buy, because otherwise it would mean that the stock could fall below 38.68 as well. So that's the approach a long-term investor should take, and I'm thinking that I would initiate a long-term holding on CRISPR Therapeutics if it goes below 42.99, and I'll keep it on my portfolio and lead by example as a long-term investor in genomics. I have not been a long-term investor in genomics except for holding on to ARC-G, and I'm going to reevaluate and see if I can dollar cost average on ARC-G at any point of time. So that's the next homework I'm doing, and I'll get back to you with my results. So my friends, today the share might be looking as if it has gained around 1% or so, but be assured that it's going to move the other way the next day. So a couple of days up and a couple of days down, that's how these shares would behave. The genomic shares would behave. There is high volatility out there. So if you're a short-term investor, you might find it much more interesting to play around with other shares, or if you want to play in genomics, then you have to look at other factors like the MACD and the RSI and shorts volume and those kind of thing. It's more sophisticated, and I don't think I'm equipped for the short term, so you may not find much ideas from me for short-term trading in genomics. With that said, my friends, I'd like to bring this video to an end. I hope you got some ideas out here. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. I always look forward to hear from you. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.